data privacy, cyber incident response. So this is majorly the high level of the topic. So as part of this topic, we are going to cover today what is e-governance and IT Act 2000 and its amendments. What is Data Protection Bill 2023? Admissibility of electronic evidences in the court and role of SIRT team. So these are the major topics that we are going to discuss in the next 1.5 hours. Okay, so let's discuss. Before going to directly starts with e-governance in India, let's understand every day in our day-to-day task, how much percentage of our task is relied on the internet or digitalization, right? Let's see. For example, in earlier days, if we wanted to speak with another person, mostly how the communication is going to be, how it's going to be. It's usually going to be a verbal communication, right? But what happening in nowadays? What are the major modes of the communication that everybody are using? If you wanted to say hi, or if you wanted to wish a happy birthday, or if you wanted to say happy married life to your friend, what is happening? All majority of the verbal communications are going on. What are the channels that you are using? You are using Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, many of the social networking channels that you are using, right? So that is one part of the communication example that I can say. Let's take another example. So earlier days, if you wanted to purchase some clothes, what you use it to do? You'll go to a nearby shop and then you will verify whatever the class that you are interested, and then you will purchase whichever the class that you are interested. If you don't like it, then you will go to some other shop, and then in person you use it to go visit the shop, and then you will check the product, and then you will decide and take the clothes. What is happening today? Are you going out from your home? No, right? You are sitting in front of your laptop, or you are sitting in front of your phone, and you are almost watching some thousands of your products from your phone itself, and you are using the apps like Flipkart, Amazon, Mintra. So various different types of the apps that you are using. So this is another kind of example I can say. The third example, what if you wanted to make it purchase a ticket? Earlier we used to go to railway station or a bus stand to purchase a ticket, right? Now what you are doing? You are using you're going to make my trip or book your bus, kind of various other different apps, right? Paytm apps, various other apps you are going, and you are just purchasing, making the things online at your home only in front of a laptop or using the mobile itself. So you can understand how much amount of the digitization is happening every day with the help of this electronic services, information, communication, and technology. Not only these, right? What are the various other things with respect to the government? Can anybody give some examples? If you see from traditional to like some past 20, 30 years before and now also, if you see, what are the various challenges with respect to the government also you can see with in terms of implementing the communication and information and technology. So earlier, if you wanted to apply some PAN card, or if you wanted to apply some passport, what is the process? And or if you wanted to get some your date of birth certificate, or if you wanted to get some death certificate or anything, right? So what is happened, you need to go through a lot of channels, you need to stand there in that particular offices for longer hours, and you need to wait, and if that person is not available, again you need to go in the next day, and again you need to perform all this, and again you need to go through all this process, right? But what is happening currently today? You are applying everything, all those government services also from your home itself, in front of a laptop or using your mobile device. So some we can see some of the examples in related to that e-governance, how it has been increased currently in India, and it's how it's going to be, the session will be like, so how much we are dependent on currently on the electronic services, how much of the usage of the information community communication and the technology services, and in what are the various fields that is currently being these services are being used, and because of that, how various types of the crimes or how various types of the misuses are getting happened. And in order to get rid of that, what are the various acts or what are the various bills that government has came up in order to protect the rights of the citizens, or in order to investigate in various cyber crimes, and how the currently the process has been changed for submitting the evidences in the court. Earlier, what kind of evidences that we are submitting in the court, and nowadays, what are the various types of the evidences that are being accepted in the court. So this is how it's going to be the whole session. Okay, let's start with the e-governance. If you see, so let's see the definition of the e-governance. So you can see based on the term itself, you can define e-governance, which is nothing but electronic governance. So what it is, government is already providing a lot of services to the citizens. Then what is e-governance? So usage of the information and communication and the technology to provide the government services in terms of the exchanging the information, communication, transaction, integration of the various standalone systems and all, right. Simply nothing but you provide the government services. Government is providing the services using the information technology and communication system. So that is nothing but we are calling here it as e-governance, right? E-governance is a move towards the smart governance. If a governance, if you wanted to call a governance to be a good governance, it should follow the SMART principle. SMART, right? SMART. So you can see here, it should be a simple governance. Government should be a simple, means whatever the rules and the regulations that the government is forming, how it can make it simple. So user-friendly government, when it will form it is, whatever the government it is forming the rules and regulations, that it can made simply available to users by using the information communication and technology, so that people can easily understand the rules and regulations, right? And then it can come up with the various new administrative system, moral values, which is nothing but more the accountable. So the system should be always accountable to the user's queries, and it should be responsive to the user queries, and then transparent. Whatever the laws the government is making, that should be transparent to all the citizens in the industry. I think nowadays you might have seen some examples, right? Various states is already providing the government, means whatever the bills that are getting created and that are passed in the assembly or the parliament, those are getting displayed in the government portal, which is nothing but transparent here. So these are the various principle that should a governance should follow to become a smart governance, right? As it should be a simple, should follow the moral values, it should be accountable to the citizens, should be transparent to the citizens, and then at the same time, sorry, responsive and then transparent to the citizens. So these are the various principles. How this can be possible? How a, normal government can become a smart governance with the help of the information communication and technology or the electronic services, right? So how it is happening. So if you see the features of the e-governance, there are various features. E-services. So electronic services, these e-services can be across various categories. So these services can be government to government, or it can be government to citizens, or it can be between business services. These are all various e-services. And similarly, where the e-governance will help is international services. I think you might have heard a term called NRIs, right? What is NRI? Non-resident Indians, the people who are working outside India, right? So for those people, if they want, government wanted to provide any services, so those are international services. How government can provide services to those people using the e-governance. And what is the simplified process? So the gap between the citizens and the government should be narrowed with this e-governance. And always governance should take the people's opinion, citizens' opinion. People should have a right to give their feedback, and the government should also take that feedback and act accordingly. So how the government can take the opinions? It can be possible again through the this kind of the electronic channels only, right? Otherwise, it's will be very difficult India has 120 plus crores of the people taking the opinion feedback from each and every people with pen and paper, how difficult it is, right? So how the technology is helping nowadays, those are all the things that we are seeing, right? And citizen empowerment through the e-governance, when the government is providing all the information in the websites and the portals, then it will be all the people, citizens can empower themselves, can by collecting all that information which is present in that portals, and they can be up to date with less cost and time. So right, these are the major purposes or the objectives of the e-governance, right? E-services, international services which are provided to the citizens who are outside the country, and the simplified processes, citizens opinions, where system should have an option or the feasibility to accept the feedback from the citizens, and then also government, how it can exercise that feedback collectively and take the actions. And the citizen empowerment, how the citizens can get aware of various laws and the acts that are being done in the parliaments or the assemblies and all, right? How they can be get knowledge by about these things. All this, everything can be possible only with the help of the current electronic services or information communication and the technology services, right? So what are the major pillars? If you see, these are the five major pillars of the e-governance. If you consider, one is digital inclusion, transparency and accountability, service efficient delivery and efficiency, and then data security, privacy, and the citizen engagement. These are the same thing, I think, pretty much what we discussed as part of the features. Now, few of them has become as a pillars of the e-governance or digital inclusion, right? So just now we discussed, if we wanted to call a governance as a good governance, e-governance, good governance, and smart governance, you can understand the similarity between these two, right? How one is dependent on the other one, right? If you government is there, and if it is using services, if it wants to become a smart governance, it definitely needs to go with the e-governance, right? So digital inclusion is nothing but governance should make sure that everyone can access these digital services, start from the remote villages to the metro cities. Everybody should be able to access the digital services, should be part of the digital journey, kind of, right? Transparency that and accountability, that's what we discussed. Whatever the laws that are made, decisions that are made, that should be made transparent to the each and every citizens, and it should be, system should be accountable in the service deliveries. As we see, right, if there are any if the citizens are facing any issues with the government services, it's not like they are creating their queries in a papers and submitting in some organizations, means, or some service centers, and they'll wait for a long time to get their queries resolved, right? It's olden days. Those are all gone. Currently, what it should be done, it should be faster. People should be able to quickly uh, express their problems or the concerns with the government services, and they should get their quick resolutions. And the data security and privacy, all the information which is getting shared, people, it should be authentic, it should be shared centralized online, and people should have confidence when they are using these digital systems, right? And citizen engagement, that's what we are taking. People also have the right to tell their opinions, and they can be part of the decision making. All these are possible with the help of the electronic governance, right? And if you see the types of the interactions which are happening in the e-governance, majorly the four types of interactions you can see: G to Z, Z to C, Z to B, and G to E. G to Z means here government to government services. You can have a doubt, right? So what is, sir, already government only providing the services? Why there should be some communication between government to government? Yeah, there is a possibility. I mean, there are possible. It's required, effective and electronic communication is required between a government to government. Here, when I talk about government to government, means it could be from a central government to state government, or there could be many branches within the same government itself. So between that branches also, there should be some communication happened, and that can be done through e-governance. Similarly, the government to the citizen. So citizens have a platform through which they can interact with the government to get a variety of the public services, right? And the government to business. So businesses also, the communication between the businesses and the government also should be done provisioned with seamlessly with the help of the electronic governance services. And finally, the interaction between the government to the employees. What are the employee concerns, and what all the employee related activities are effectively and speedily processing or not. In order to build this effective communication system between them also, this type of e-governance is going to help. Some of the examples you can see what are the types of the services that are happening in case of the G2C, which is government to C citizen services. You can see applications, tax remittances, e-payments, voting, public opinions. These are all comes as part of the government to citizen services. Whereas when you consider government to government, these budget management, approvals, revenue management, and trainings, and these all comes as part of the government to government services, whether it could be from state government to central government or different branches within the same government also. So these are the various activities that can be possible. And then government to employees. So we have various different types of the operations performing by the government employees, right? Starting from the teaching, various other sectors where the government employees are working in terms of the administration or in terms of the various other activities, right? So there, how e-governance helps, right? In terms of taking the attendances, biometrics, or in terms of creating a new policies, and how they can easily automate this payroll systems and administration, and how they can take care of the healthcare services, how they can give some insurance policies, how they can effectively manage all the employees, government employees. All this will comes under the government to employee services. And similarly, the government to the business, so where it is comes for businesses mainly, they'll do some trading or taxation related, right? So what it will comes here, trade licenses, taxation, subsidiaries, approvals to the new businesses. These features will be part of the government to business. So all this you can see, can imagine how many types of the services are happening within the government, and how e-governance is completely changing the shape of the future, how it is speeding up the process, and how it is improving the efficiency by applying the information communication and technology services, right? We can see some of the examples also, significant examples in the e-government in India. So you can see, I think everybody are much familiar with this, right? Aadhaar, unique identification number, which India has been introduced. And then mygovernment.in, a national citizen engagement system platform where people can share their ideas uh, with respect to all the matters of policy and governance. So this is the portal. This is again part of the e-governance. The UMANG, if for all the things related to Aadhaar, digital locker, PAN, employee provident fund services, there is a portal that government has created, which is the UMANG. And then digital locker, I think many of us are already using, right? In order to store our credentials, like if you wanted to store your Aadhaar card or a PAN card, not only the government identities like passport, Aadhaar card, and PAN card, right? Like your educational credentials, your mark sheets, your degree certificates, all these also can be securely stored in a digital locker, which is the service providing by the government, right? And the pay government, which facilitates the online payments to all the public and private banks, right? So these are the some of the e-governance services which are currently in India. You can see from India concept, right? And not only that, few other things, like if you see mobile, uh, some of them are not even no need to go to the portals and the websites also, right? There are many services now came as part of the M-app, which is mobile app services, like almost like 200 live applications which are providing currently the government services, you can see. And the computerization of the land records. Earlier, these land records are used to be in some big books, old ledgers kind of, but everything is now digitalized and maintaining land records also. And then e-panchayat and the e-district are the various other services provided by the various uh, state government and as well as central government services, right? So, and if you see some of the examples of the state level e-governance initiatives also, e-seva, which is started in the Andhra Pradesh, which facilitates the payment of utility bills, all the utility bills, issuance of the new certificates and licenses and permits, right? Earlier, as we discussed, if we wanted to go, we use it to go to some other municipal offices or something to get those. But now through digitalization of the e-seva, either you can personally visit e-seva, or you can access the app of the e-Seva and you can apply for the birth certificate, licenses, permits, or death certificate, all these things, right? And similarly, Khajane project, which is operating by the government of Karnataka to maintain the treasury system of the state, right? And similarly, there is another project which is maintaining by the government of Kerala state government, a single window facility to pay all the taxes and all. There is an app which they came up with, a Friends app. We'll see detail like that also. And then Lokvani project, which is a state government initiative in the Uttar Pradesh, single window solution, which is providing for handling the various grievances, land record issues and all, providing a mixture of essential services, right? This is the Friends app, which is the Kerala local government has started, which you can see the abbreviation also, which is fast, reliable, instant, efficient network for the disbursement of the services is part of the Kerala IT mission. So that's they came up with this Friends app, which handled almost 1,000 types of the payments that citizens can make, like almost utility payments, electricity payments, water payments, revenue taxes, license fees, and all. So all these payments now made digitalized. And Bhumi, you might have heard in Karnataka for all the revenue related things to handle. It has introduced this new one. Uh, Almost like 20 million records of the land ownership, 6.9 million farmers in the state has been digitalized completely. And then eSeva, which we have seen just now, when it is launched in 2001. Initially the eSeva is called as a Twins project. It has been developed for the twin cities of Hyderabad and Secunderabad, and then currently, I mean, it is offering 118 different services, similarly like utility bills, registration, birth, death, registration certificates, passports, and all. For all this, then Vijayavahini, this is another app which provides the opportunity for the schools, teachers, students, and across the nation to express and share their creative academic potential using internet, right? So you might, if you are not aware, maybe you can have a look like these kind of apps, government initiatives. Drishti, which is connecting Indian villages one another for providing the various government services, healthcare services, marketing related information, exchanges of various transactions and all. So these are some examples that we can see, right? So what are the benefits that we will get if we implement these things, right? So these are the main benefits of the e-governance. Citizen can access the government services and information online, thus saving their time and money, right? Particularly time. Nowadays, people are not having time. They're busy with a lot of things. So we need to save a time. How we can save the time? By computerizing, or what you can by using these e-services, electronic services, by applying the information communication and technology services in various different sectors, various services, right? So that's how citizens can access the government services, information, everything through online, right? So that is one of the by saving their time and money. And similarly, quicker services. Then, as I said earlier, we don't need to physically go in person to various offices and stand for a long time and in a queues and wait for some persons. And if the person is not available, go next day and again wait, do the for completing the task. Those and all has gone, right? Now quicker services they are getting with unnecessary delays by automating all these processes, and better understanding of the government. As the government is making publicly available all these things in the portal, acts and the new bills, everything. People also understanding the administration very quickly, and it is more transparent and provide those whatever the services the government is providing quick and accurate. And then this it will also increasing the businesses and encourages to invest and grow the economy of the country and economy of the states. And finally, it is giving the government necessary information to make the better decisions also. So previously also we discussed, right? So there are two different types of the channels that people are directly interacting with the government. One is to understand whatever the laws and acts that are being developed or created in the parliament or assemblies. They're making it available to make it transparent. The second one is people are providing the feedback, and they are also themselves wanted to be part of the decision making. How that can be possible, that we just discussed, right? So they're directly providing the services, means their opinions through various apps, and then They are also becoming the part of the decision making. And if there are any concerns or the issues with the government services also, as I said earlier, don't need to go to some service centers and wait for some long time for support centers and all, call some person. And now they are only able to directly provide the issues to get them resolved quickly with the help of this e-governance apps, right? So now we have seen how much dependency that we have created in day-to-day life with the application of the information communication technology, either in your day-to-day life or in your personal life or in your in case of the government services also, right? So there should be some acts that are required when something goes wrong to protect and to defend. So one of the act that came into picture after is the Information Technology Act 2000. So what is this act? The IT Act 2000 is India's first law to regulate the digital communication, e-commerce, and cyber crimes. So it has first came into picture at 2000. We'll see the history how it came also to regulate the digital communication, e-commerce, and for reacting to the cyber crimes. This IT Act 2000 has been started or introduced. It gives the legal recognition to the electronic records and the digital signature, ensuring that online contracts and the digital evidence of the valid in the crowd. This is very important to understand. Nowadays, we are seeing, for example, when you are purchasing a property or when you are taking a rent for a flat. So earlier, if you wanted to complete the transaction, you should be physically present at that person at that place. Say, for example, you are staying in US or somewhere, and you are purchasing a property in say Bangalore or Hyderabad, and if you wanted to complete the transaction or for initial payment, at least for the initial payment, you always that if that needs to be trusted and if it that needs to be authentic, then all that things should be done by in person, the signatures and all. But what is happening nowadays, you don't need to come travel along and come to this place. You don't need to put leaves there and then come to here, and you're saving a lot of time. And you, how are you signing? You are making a digital signatures. So that digital signatures has started with this IT Act, that get recognition with this IT Act 2000, right? When you sign online rental agreement using the digital signature, it is legally valid under this act. Many of the people who are staying in maybe the places like Bangalore or Hyderabad, you might be taking the rental agreements, right? So their digital signature is valid now. As per the IT Act 2000, the digital signature is completely valid and it is legally authentic. And what are the various things in this we can see? This is a high level overview of this IT Act 2000. Full name is Information Technology Act 2000. In short, you can say IT Act 2000. The purpose is, as we see here, to provide the legal recognition to the electronic records, digital signatures, and to prevent the cyber crimes in India. Let's understand clearly here, right? What is the act? What is the short name? And what is the main purpose? Who introduced this? And where it is applicable and when it was introduced, right? So these are the things that we are seeing. So as we see here, Information Technology Act 2000 is the full name if you see, and the short name is IT Act 2000. Purpose, you see mainly three things here: to provide the legal recognition to the electronic records, digital signatures, and to prevent the cyber crimes in India. And this has been introduced by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, and enacted by the Parliament of India. And this bill is introduced initially in 2000, and it has passed by Lok Sabha in 16th May 2000. You can understand some of the historical figures. And it went to the Rajya Sabha and it got approved in, I think, in 17th May 2000 and received by presidential assent in 9 June 2000 and finally came into force on 17th October 2000. So that's where this is the whole process it has undergone to become as an act. Information Technology Act 2000. From 2000 May to till October, various phases it has gone involved into this. What is the structure of IT Act 2000? It has total of 13 chapters involved in this IT Act, and there are 94 sections and the 4 schedules. 13 chapters, 94 sections, and the 4 schedules. What are the major objectives of the IT Act 2000 if you see? provides the legal framework for the electronic transactions. So earlier we see, right? So whatever the transactions that are happened through electronically, there is no legal framework. Olden days it was still paper-based transactions only. They are considered that as a legal kind of. But now, with the help of the IT Act 2000, all the electronic transactions got the legal framework and authentic. The cyber crimes, preventing the cyber crimes of hacking, identity theft, and fraud. It is one of another objective of the IT Act 2000. Promoting the e-governance by allowing the digital submissions. Various initiatives by the e-governance till now we discussed in order to promote all these e-governance by allowing the digital submission. That is another objective of the IT Act 2000. Ensure the data integrity, authenticity, and confidentiality. This is also another means. As if the information is provided by the government means which is trusted, and then whenever that information is maintained in the portals using the various types of the integration and authenticity type, it gives the confidence to the people to trust that information. So a real life example, you can see a startup can now register and sign the MOUs online without physical documents, right? If you wanted to register a new company now, for that big task also, you don't need to be in person available. Everything can be done. All that sign the MOEs and register everything can be done without the physical documents, saving time and ensuring the authenticity. So these are the high level objectives of the IT Act 2000, you can say. So basically the legal framework. What is the legal framework for electronic transactions and how to prevent cyber crimes and how to promote the e-governance, right? These are the major objectives. The key sections of the IT Act 2000 are Section 43, unauthorized access penalties, and Section 66, which is hacking and the cyber fraud, and Section 67, publishing the obscene content online, and Section 69A, website blocking for national security, Section 79, safe harbor for intermediaries. So if someone hacks your email and misuses it, then it can be punished under Section 66. There is a difference, right? Like, what is the example I have given here? If someone hacks your email and misuses, they can be punished under Section 66. It means even though you have taken all the precautions and protected your laptop and still someone hacks your email and misuses it, then the person who has misused can be punished. But what you are, for example, you are working in a company and you have you didn't lock the laptop and you went outside. And then some other person came and used your laptop to misuse your email. In that case, definitely the person who has misused the email will also be punished, but a punishment will also be for the person who has not taken care of their digital asset also. So there is a clear distinguish we need to understand here. And what are these major sections? We'll see with some examples here. Key sections of the IT Act 2000 here. What are the, there are lots of, as I said here, total this has 13 chapters, 94 sections and 4 schedules. It will be difficult to go through all these sections and examples. So let's see some of the major sections which are comes under the IT Act 2000, which we can be aware of, kind of, need to be aware of, kind of. So if you see the section 43, which is civil liability for unauthorized access. Let's take an example, right? Employee copies the confidential customer database and posts it externally. This is a big crime and violation. You can understand, right? There is a different types of the information which will be in the organization, which can be, some of them can be classified as a confidential information, which comes under the PII information. Particularly in the banking sector, on the other sectors, we know what is confidential information. So if an employee intentionally copies this customer, means confidential customer database information and post it externally, then it comes under, means it has been done without any permission, right? Without any permission, the access, downloads. If a person without permission accesses, downloads, copies, any of these activities comes under this. If without permission, if he accesses the confidential data, or if he downloads the confidential data, or if he introduces any virus or tampers the system and damages the computer resource, all this will comes under the section 43. and he will be clearly punished as per this Section 43 compensation. It can be anything civil or imprisonment or anything. Can see Section 66, which is the hacker alters the company's database and causes the loss. So many people maybe on their interest or intentionally they are learning this hacking courses and performing these hacking activities. They should be clearly aware, if the hacker alters the company's database and causes the loss, up to 3 years of imprisonment and fine of up to 5 lakh are both. So these are some of the laws that has been part of the IT Act 2000. So either an employee within the organization tries to access or download the confidential information, or if some external person who tries to hack the database and causes the loss. This is second one. Third one is dishonestly receiving a stolen computer or device. Did you understand this? Dishonestly receiving a stolen computer, source or device. So many of the times, some of us tries to purchase the things online. It is okay always to purchase the computers kind of laptops kind of things. Means the new items, purchase the new items. But whenever we are purchasing the uh, second hand item kind of, right? So we should be very careful. So whatever the computer or the laptop that we are purchasing, if it is a stolen computer, even the person who is receiving that computer will also comes under this section 66B, and it will be 3 years of imprisonment and fine will be there. So I think many of might not know this section or the rule. We should be very careful while purchasing the new devices. Should make sure it was like a genuine item. It was not like a stolen computer or a stolen device, right? So one of the important law. Then using someone else login credentials or digital signature to sign the contracts. This is forging. This is basically comes under identity theft. If you try to steal some other person's identity, like an electronic signature or their password or the unique identity, if you perform any activity, then that comes under section 66C. Again, this also has 3 years of imprisonment and a fine of up to 1 lakh. So should be very careful in terms of when we are stealing the person's people who are performing these kind of activities should be aware of these things, right? So then cheating, scam caller posing a bank official and tricking the fund transfer. So I think nowadays many people are getting the call. These are scam calls, like posing a bank official and tricking the fund transfer, right? I don't know. In majority places, India also as well as the other countries here also we are seeing in Dubai also. When we are working normally, we'll suddenly get a call saying like, for example, you are you're working, for example, you're working in already a State Bank of India, and you get a call from the State Bank of India. Person says that you need to take some urgent attention and you need to click this option, click this link and all kind of posing, claiming that they are the bank officials. So for those people also, this we can report, and then it will comes under the section 66D. Again, this also has the imprison 3 years of imprisonment and then 1 lakh fine. Sharing of the non-consensual intimate photo or social media. So capturing, publishing, transmitting the image of a person's private area without a consent. Nowadays, we are seeing when this artificial intelligence came into the picture, we don't know. It's very difficult to identify which is the real picture or which is the morphed image or something, right? So those also comes into this particular section. This is intentionally, if someone does this, the sharing of a non-consensual intimate of the photo in social media comes under section 66E, which also has this 3 years of imprisonment and fine up to 2 lakh both. These are some key sections that will comes as part of the IT Act, Information Technology Act 2000. So we see either an inside employee stealing the confidential information, or an external hacker compromising the company's database, or dishonestly receiving. You don't know, but if you receive some second-hand computer when you are purchasing, if it is some stolen device, then you that time also you will be punishable. And if you in case of the identity theft and in case of the cheating scammer posing a by tricking like a bank official, or in case of the non sharing the information. So we should be very careful while sharing the information on the social media. Not only while posting directly, when you are forwarding also, there will be a lot of laws and acts associated, which will comes under Information Technology Act. And there is one more that we'll discuss, the DPDP Act, Digital Data Protection Act also we'll discuss. And there are some other ones which are also comes under the IT Act, which is large scale malware, which is disables the critical infrastructure. This will cause the imprison may extend to lifelong, which will comes under the section 66F of the cyber terrorism. Then similar to this, these also should be very careful. Posting the pornographic videos on a website, which comes under the section 67, first conviction up to 3 years, fine up to lakh, and subsequent conviction 5 years. And based on that next levels, it is increasing the imprisonment and all. Then section 66A, which is sharing the explicit sexual act videos also, and harassing, hosting or sharing the child pornographic material will comes under the section 67B, strict imprisonment. Courts have treated this position viewing, publishing, and punishable. And also section 60, 69 and 60A, which is government bans certain foreign apps like a TikTok and all. If you failure to assist or interfere, can attract up to the 7 years of imprisonment and life here. Then a cloud host sells user email list received under the contractual terms. Did you understand this? Should be very careful. Cloud. So we usually trust the cloud, and we are saving all the information in the cloud, whether it can be Google, Amazon, or AWS, or various type of other clouds, right? But if something happens with respect to the cloud, particularly if the cloud itself, cloud host, if there is some, not only these are already popular clouds, right? Forget about this. If there is some third party cloud came into picture, which is not trusted, and if people started using that cloud for saving some information, and if that cloud host sells that user email list violating the contractual terms, that also comes under this section 72A, and with who has the 3 years of imprisonment. And then safe harbor. YouTube is not automatically liable for all user videos if it acts as take down the notices also. So that all related YouTube related issues, section 79, it comes under no direct imprisonment, but failure to comply, it can liability to some fines and all, right? So these are the some of the informations that has been given as part of the Information Technology Act. I know it's lots of sections, theories, difficult to remember, but just try to understand some of the common practices which also comes under these acts, so that we should be very cautious when we are reacting, or whenever we can suggest the others also, particularly if those are the things which we need to be take care of, right? So instead of a lot of sections, let's take some what you call case studies. I think this might be this is one of the popular case you might have also heard. Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. Uh, this section 66A, which is like added in the 2008, made posting offensive content online a crime. It was a vague and misused to arrest the people for expressing their opinions itself. The Supreme Court struck down section 66A as unconstitutional, protecting free speech online. Generally, people has the right to speech, right? Free speech and all kind of. But what happened in 2012, the two girls in Maharashtra were arrested for a Facebook post. Just for the Facebook post, two girls were arrested in 2012, and it came under this section 66A, and they are punished. Is led to a national debate on free speech, resulting in the landmark of 2015 judgment. TikTok ban, which I think many of you already know, whenever it got to know that that app maintainers who is maintaining the TikTok ban as following all the security practices, the government has banned that TikTok and other some 58 different types of the Chinese apps and all. So all that laws the government has taken as part of that 69A, section 69A. in order to perform the regulating the online ecosystems and all. The data theft, hackers gained access to the Wipro's internal system using phishing emails and stealing the client credential. This all happened in 2019 when it happened. Like the incident emphasized the importance of the cybersecurity compliance. This is the real life example that we have seen, which is happened in 2009. Protection policies and increased focus in the cyber hygiene and IT firms also. That's why, right, in majority of the IT firms, so whenever a new person has been joined, lots of trainings that he need to undergo, understand to what is the usage terms and agreements and terms and conditions, and what is meant by confidential information, what are the various cyber security, cyber threats and cyber attacks, and what are the various policies or cyber securities that we need to be measures that we need to take care of, that various types of the what you call trainings that the companies will provide, because it's now IT firms responsibility also to train the new employee and to make it aware of all these new laws and acts to be secure and to be compliant with respect to the regulations, as well as to be secure with respect to the confidential information within the organization. All right. IT, apart from IT Act 2000, in 2008, there was some amendments are made. In as part of that amendments, these are the some new things has been incorporated, which is electronic signatures. In addition to the digital signatures, electronic signatures are also in cyber terrorism, child pornography, and intermediary liability, data protection. These are all has been added as part of amendments in the IT Act 2000. That's all with respect to the Information Technology Act 2000. Then there comes the another one, which is the DPDP, simply call it as Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is introduced in recently, which is 2023 Act, Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. We can just see the brief information or high level overview of this Act number 22 of 23, which is full name is Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is um, enacted by the Parliament of India. The bill has passed in Lok Sabha in 7th August 2023 and passed in the Rajya Sabha in 9th of August 2023 and received presidential assent on 11th of August. And finally, the bill came into effective in 2023 itself after 11th August, right? And it is applicable within the whole India. These are the main terminology and definitions which are part of the DPDP Act. Processing of the personal data. First, we should identify what is the personal data, right? Any information which can be used to identify the person's identity that can be treated as a personal identity. A passport number, an Aadhaar card number, a phone number, all this can be treated as a personal data. So while processing the personal data, what are the measures that need to be taken? Processing of the personal data. What is data principle? You can see. So we discussed what is personal data. The data which is used to uniquely identify a person. The examples which I have given, right? Then the data principle, the individual to whom the personal data relates to. This is personal data, and data principle is the person. Like for example, here you see uh, passport number is the personal data, and that passport is belongs to whom, that person will become a data principle here. Then the digital personal data in the digital form, like it is not like physical credentials, it can be like a digital credential or a digital certificate. And what is the data processor? Process the personal data on the behalf of the fiduciary. Fiduciary is nothing but the person who determines the purpose of the processing the personal data, right? And then processing of the personal automated operations performed on the personal digital data will be part of the processing of the personal data. These are the some of the important terms, like what is personal data, what is data principle, what is digital personal data, data processor, data fiduciary. These are the terminologies that will get used in this act, DPDP Act. So it's very clear, right? So in any information which is used to identify a person, that is called as the personal data, and the person or an individual for whom the data belongs to is called as the data principal, and that credentials which is in the digital form, we are calling that as a digital personal data, and the entity or the process which is processing that particular data is data processor. There will be a data fiduciary who will determine what is the purpose, why we need to process that personal data, who will determine that, right? These are the requirements while when that should be taken under consideration while processing the personal data. So provide a notice, inform the users about processing purposes. Whenever a personal data is getting processed, we should give an upfront information to the user. Enable the consent. We should take the clear consent from the user for processing their personal information. Obtain verifiable consent. It's not like a verbal consent. We should take an official verifiable consent in order to process that personal data. These are all the things that companies need to be taken care of. Rights of the data principle, right? Individuals can manage their consent for the data use, which is consent management. Right to access and erase. Individuals can access and can raise a request if they wanted to get deleted, that information that is stored that can need to be updated or get deleted. That right also individual can have. Right to data portabilities. Individuals can request their data in a transferable format. The correction of that rights, grievance, if there is any issue with the personal, they can raise the complaints to get that immediate resolution. So these are all the rights an individual can have with respect to consent management, right to access and erasure, with respect to data portability and the correction rights. At the same time, if there are any issues, to raise the complaints and to get that resolved. And coming to the Act, these are the various sections, key sections of the DPDP Act that we can see here. These are examples I tried my best to get mostly related to our day-to-day real-time examples so that you can easily correlate and can correlate, and then you can remember some of the important acts which are required, like, right? So for example, a retail app collects the browsing history without informing the user. So just now we discussed for various purposes at the beginning of the section also. Why, if you just open your phone, you can see almost some 30-40 different types of apps, right? So for each purpose, we are downloading some third-party apps and we are using. So, underlying every app is collecting most of our data. And so that's where this is coming into the picture. A retail app collects the browsing history without informing the user. So without consent from the user, if the retail app collects the browsing history, then it will comes under this section, up to 50 crore punishment. So delivery app asks for the medical history through only address, as only address is needed, right? So for example, there is some delivery apps. There are some many online delivery apps, right? What they need, just basically from where you book that and where to ship that. So it just need only address details. But whereas if it asks for your medical history, then it will comes under this section. Up to 50 crore it is punishment. Certainly, this will applicable to the colleges. Like a college retains the alumni detailed personal data indefinitely with no valid purpose. If there is no purpose, storing the alumni data indefinitely also will comes under this act. Section 7 of the chapter 2 should not store without anonymizing without any purpose, right? So this will also comes under 50 crore penalty. Similarly, a fintech app stores the bank details on a fintech. You means any banking app. It is very, very important for banking apps to store all the user details in an encrypted fashion. But in case if any company has stored the user data in without encrypting, then that can be punishable up to 250 crores. A social media company delays telling the users about a data leak. For example, you are using a social media, and if there is some data leak happened, say whether it can be a Facebook or Twitter or some other social media, if the data leak happened, if that has been not informed to the users, if there is a delay in that information also, that company need to pay approximately 200 crore. 200 crore. Similarly, AdTech company, which is education related platform, if it uses the children's data for their own purposes, for a target ads and all, then it will be also comes under this section 9 of the chapter 2. Up to 200 crores it is punishable, right? Then a telecom operator handling the millions of the users fails to annual audit. So we are using what are the famous or popular telecom operators? We are using Airtel, Vodafone or Jio, right? So these telecom operators, annual audits will be there. So if that company is unable, if they failed for the audit, in the annual audit, it needs to pay approximately 150 crore. Similarly, if a company refuses to hand over the audit documents when asked by the board, that also comes under this section 18. And then a user gives a false government ID to open account or small leak reported. If you provide this applicable to us, right? This we should aware, like it will comes under the penalty. If for any, if you want to open an account, for that, if you provide some false ID proof, false government ID, like you will be get penalized and punished as part of this DPDP Act, which is recently got introduced, Digital Data Protection Act 2023 Act, under section 19 and 33, data principal duty breach up to 10,000 and other specified violations are up to 50 crores need to be paid. So should be very cautious while giving the government proof while opening the accounts. So should not give any false proofs. So next comes to the what is electronic evidences, right? Electronic evidence means any information that is stored, transmitted, and recorded in an electronic form, such as what are the various electronic channels that we are using? It can be emails, CCTV footages, WhatsApp messages, call records, computer files, bank transaction logs, social media posts. This is something important. Just let's pay attention for next another 10 to 15 minutes, right? This we are discussing with respect to now evidences. Evidences means when the term evidence comes means what we'll recall. Evidences where we'll submit in court. Till now, what type of the evidences that we are submitting in the courts? It's all the physical evidences. But now it started, courts also started accepting the electronic evidences. So what are all comes as part of the electronic evidences, right? And what is an electronic evidence? And in any information that is stored, transmitted, and recorded electronic form, that is just called as an electronic device, means electronic evidence, which are all comes and generally comes as part of the electronic evidence means emails, CCTV footage, WhatsApp messages, call records, computer files, bank transaction logs, social media posts. These are all can be act as an electronic evidences. Let's see some examples also in which particular use cases which type of the evidences can be submitted as an evidences. So what law governs in India under section 65A and 65B of the Indian Act? Government means admissibility of the electronic records has been started as part of these two sections. Okay, as per the Indian law, the admissibility of the electronic records has been started as part of the section 65A and 65B under the Act 1872. So what does admissibility means? Admissibility is nothing but a court can accept the piece of evidence as a valid, reliable proof. Any evidence that court can accept as a valid proof that can be called as admissibility. That is what called as admissibility. Just because that you show some screenshot of video, it doesn't mean that court will accept. It must satisfy certain legal conditions in order to consider that evidence as the electronic evidence. So if you wanted to submit any electronic evidence like an email or a video or a chart, you must also give section 65B certificate. This is very important. So just now we discussed. So if something happens in previous days, we are submitting a physical paper-based evidences, but now courts started accepting the electronic evidences, right? So we have also seen what are the various types of the electronic evidences, like an email or video or WhatsApp chat and all. Yeah, court will consider these as an electronic evidences, but we need to understand along with these electronic evidences, there may be certain situations. Along with these electronic evidences, you also need to provide a section 65B certificate. So what is section 65B certificate? It provides electronic record was produced from a lawful, reliable source, and the computer or device was working properly, and the person producing it had lawful control over the device. The data was not tampered with. These are all it guarantees, this certificate. Okay. So let's take an example. WhatsApp chats in a harassment case. Suppose, I think this is very easily understandable also, right? Suppose a woman is harassed on WhatsApp. She takes some screenshots and submits them in the court. The court will say these screenshots are not enough. You need to submit a 65B certificate from the phone owner or service provider confirming that these charts are authentic. What if screenshots are created by you using some AI technology or using some morphing or using some Photoshop. You yourself created the screenshots. So that's why government, along with the WhatsApp chat, it can request for some section 65B certificate also. See, it's just a simple women harassment case. It will not accept that chat, WhatsApp chat as a proof. Along with that, you need to submit a 65 section 65B certificate as well. Similarly, CCTV footage in the theft case. A shopkeeper CCTV camera records a theft. So now a shop is there. I mean, so an organization, there is one shop is there, maybe a shopping complex. A theft has happened. And CCTV has recorded everything. He has given that footage in an open pen drive to the police. But for the admissibility, the shopkeeper also must provide 65B certificate stating that the footage was copied from his DVR. The system was working properly, the footage was not edited. This is very important. That's why government asks just not the electronic evidence. Along with that, you also need to submit a 65B certificate. Failure to submit the 65B certificate, that evidence will get rejected. So we should be able to understand if something happens, these kind of incidents. So those just electronic evidence will not be sufficient. We should also submit a 65B certificate. So a company claims an employee emailed the confidential data to the competitor. An IT firm has made this kind of the complaint about an internal employee. So it has raised a complaint to the government that internal employee itself has mailed the confidential information to the competitor. They printed that email and they showed that quote, but that printed copy also court is not considering as a only evidence. In that case also, court is asking to produce email server log so that to make sure yes, it is a genuine, it has not tampered or it has not created intentionally, something like it. So in order to prove the authenticity of that email, court is asking for the email server log, 65B certificate from the IT administrator. Then only it is considering that email as an electronic evidence for this case. So what happens if there is no 65B certificate that we discussed, right? So if there is no 65B certificate, usually the electronic record will not be considered, it will be rejected or it will be not admissible. But in some cases, courts have allowed evidences without a 65B certificate. The original device is presented before the court or official authorities like forensic labs have verified. There are some exceptional scenarios. If this happens, then they can accept these electronic evidences. Right. So this is some high level example. You can see in which cases the 65B certificate is present required and in which cases just only that the screenshots or the video or the footage, CCTV footage is enough, right? You can see, right? If there is a WhatsApp chat, definitely you need screenshot, means the 65B certificate. If it is a CCTV footage, you need a 65B certificate. If you present a original DVR, then 65B certificate is not needed. Email printout required a 65B certificate. Facebook post, yes, it requires a 65B certificate, and hard disk or server log also requires a 65B certificate to consider your evidence as an electronic evidence. As otherwise, that evidence will get rejected. Okay. These are some other scenarios. It will be same again. Business emails showing the fraud where exactly again the 65B certificate is required. Theft which is captured on the CCTV. These are the similar, I think, just now also we have seen some as the case studies, what is electronic evidence and when, in which particular case the section 65B certificate need to present. Some other examples also provided as part of this. Okay. Category wise, if you see, these are the various types of the categories that we have considered that are considered as part of the electronic evidences. In case of the communication records, it can be either emails, WhatsApp, SMS, Telegram, and all, mainly for harassment and all, defamation or for these purposes. And in case of the audio visual evidence, as part of the audio visual evidence, you can provide a CCTV footage, video recordings and all, phone camera clips and all. And if it is a computer files and documents, the Word files, PDF, Excel sheets can be produced as the evidences. And call data records can be mobile calls, logs and all can be provided in case of the call data records. Similar internet activity logs for that you need to provide browser history, server logs, website access logs and all. In case of the bank and financial records, you need to provide that online transaction data, net banking app logs, UPI records and all. Similarly, the forensic record and GPS location data. If you wanted to provide GPS location data as an evidence, then the Google Map records, car GPS trackers, mobile tower pings, all these things need to share. Social media contents, you need to share that post, tweets, videos, comments, likes, etc. And the blockchain, if there is any something happened in the blockchain also, there also for the transaction history, we need to show as an evidence. Cloud-based, Google Drive, Dropbox, cloud backups, and the biometric fingerprint scans and all. Similarly, IoT smart devices, what are the various types of the, I mean, for each category, what are the various different types of the evidences that you can provide, right? As an evidence. That information has been clearly given here. So if you wanted to quickly remember this, what is smart DZ? So you can remember social media data, mobile chats, audio visual, or for records and text and digital documents, device logs and metadata, internet and cloud data, GPS and location info, IoT and smart devices. So overall, these are the various types of the electronic evidences that you can produce in court. Again, we need to clearly remember out of these various categories where 65B certificate is required and where it is not required. And if you wanted to quickly remember what are the various categories of electronic evidences, instead of remembering these many categories, you can just remember the word smart DZ. What does S stands for, M stands for, A stands for, R, T and D, I and GI, and then it will cover pretty much all the categories of all the electronic evidences. That comes to the last part of the section, which is certain. Anybody know what is cert? I think majority the people might already know. CERT means here as Computer Emergency Response Team in India. So this is what. So what is CERT? You can just know it stands for Computer Emergency Response Team in India. It's the national agency responsible for cyber security incidents in India. This is the one first who immediately reacts when some cyber security incident is happen. What is that? It is certain. It was created under section 70B of the IT Act. So this is again as part of the IT Act. We discussed also in when we are concluding at IT Act 2000, there was some amendments we have discussed, which was added as part of the IT Act Amendment 2008. So there we discussed about cyber terrorism, right? So there this amendment has been added. Which team is responsible for that is certain team, which is Computer Emergency Response Team in India, which will is sole responsible for the cyber security incident, which is the one first who reacts it. It established in the 2004 and headquarters. This team has been established 2004 in New Delhi headquarters under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Okay. So what are the major objectives of this team? This team, it needs to prevent the cyber incidents. It needs to respond to the cyber incidents. Means not only preventing, it also need to respond to the cyber incidents and issue some alerts and advisories, and issue some provide some technical assistance and promote the awareness and coordinate internationally, right? So these are the major objectives of the Computer Emergency Response Team in India. So what are the powers? It has legal powers. So this team can collect and analyze the information of the cyber incidents, and it can issue the guidelines, advisories, and the vulnerabilities to prevent the cyber incidents. And it can coordinate and respond the actions during the cyber emergencies with various teams. And it can call for the information from the service providers, data centers, and companies, and it can directly contact the organizations to take the specific actions for the cyber security, and also it reports to the government on the national cyber security statuses. So overall, collecting that information, processing the information, giving some advisory and guidelines, and responding, taking some responsive actions, and request some information from the respective data centers or companies and all, and then finally reporting the government about this national cyber security status on periodical basis. So these are the overall responsibility of the CERT here. So an example, if you take, for example, if a major Indian bank's website is hacked, what's CERT can do? It can order the bank to share the logs and details. It can coordinate with the RBI, police, and the other banks, and it can issue a public alert if the customer data also leaked. It can analyze the malware to prevent the further attacks. These are all the actions immediately it will do. Any bank website is hacked, immediately CERT will come into the picture, and it will ask immediately share your company's bank server logs. It will coordinate with the Reserve Bank of India, police, and other banks, and it can give that. This is very important, right? It will give the public alert for the customers about the data leak, and then it can analyze if there are any malware or to prevent that further attacks to happen in future. These are some various things that are already happened previously, real life examples, and what are the various types of that incident, and what are the various actions that has been taken by the CERT has been documented here. I think due to time constraint, I'm stopping here. And what are the various services provided by the CERT also just given for the reference. Finally, we'll conclude with the 6-hour rule of 2022 directive, which is all entities which has either data centers or the VPN providers or internet service providers or the cloud companies or the government departments. Any of them must report the cybersecurity incident to this team, certain team, within 6 hours of detection. Failure to do so can attract the penalties under the IT Act. Say, for example, if a fintech startup company notices a breach at 9 a.m. morning, it must inform to the certain team, which is computer emergency response team, before 3 p.m. on the same day. Otherwise, it will incur into the various penalties as part of the IT Act. So overall, these are the various uh, things that we have discussed with respect to the IT Act, Information Technology Act 2000, as well as the Digital Data Protection Act 2023, and as well as the how the tradition has been changed from past to currently, how the courts are now started accepting the electronic evidences in India, and what are the various categories of the electronic evidences, and if you want, in which scenarios just the evidences are ever sufficient, or as part of the evidence, electronic evidences, if you also wanted to provide some 65B certificate, and where it is not required. And in case of any cyber security issues, which particular team in the India is first responsible, who acts first, and who coordinates with the various other particular organizations, and who will give some advisories, and who will take care of for in to happen in the future, like to not to happen in the future, right? So that is certain, which is a computer emergency response team in India. All these things which we have discussed, and the beginning only we discussed why these are things that we need to discuss, right? In day-to-day life, how much we are currently dependent on electronic services and information technology and communication. Since we are relying on that much, we should be also cautious about these acts and these particular bills, and how it impacts underlying, right? So I'll just take a pause here and allow all the people if there are any queries.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you, sir.
Really, you have rocked the second session also. It was very informative, sir. Till now, we thought that courts will not accept any electronic proofs, but through your session, I came to know that courts will also accept. Sir, I think that the participants might have many questions.
Okay.
I have unmuted all the mics for all the participants. Dear participants, if you have any queries, you can ask.
Definitely one thing I can say here, I tried my best to put the content in the right format. I know these acts and sections and these schedules are theoretical, difficult to remember,
Very
and
nice, sir.
could be
Very nice,
little
sir. The
boring
session is
also. I
very
tried
nice
to
and
give
very impressive.
a real-time example so that to interact much and to correlate the content much, like. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Really
with
very
your
good.
visuals and all, you have kept the session interactive and interesting throughout the
Thank you.
session. Yeah, nice sample case studies, videos.
Yes.
Did a good job, Kasi.
Thank you, sir.
And some of the people are asking whether you can share the PPT in the chat.
Sure, sir. Sure. Sure,
Yeah.
definitely. Thanks you.
Yeah.
And also definitely would like to thank uh, Indranil sir and Praveen sir for giving this opportunity to share my knowledge with all the participants. Once again, thank you. It's pleasure to join this session and share the knowledge and collaborate with these many people. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, participants, if you are having any questions, you can ask. Yeah, so a little announcement. Tomorrow, in tomorrow's session, you will have the link shared for the test. So it is mandatory for all the participants to take the test and they have to clear the test in order to get the certificate. So without giving the test, it is not possible to generate the certificate by the Atal portal. So mandatorily, every participant who have registered for this FDP should attempt the test. And once the FDP is completed, along with the feedbacks what we have generated these days for day-wise, along with that, in your portal login, you will have the feedback link that also should be completed. Then only means two tasks should be done. One is attendance, second one is the test, and the third one is filling the feedback in the portal. So after completion of all these three things, then only it will generate the certificate. It is already a software based procedure. So that's why all these things are mandatory to get the certificate for the FDP. And you are going to have three more wonderful sessions tomorrow. Tomorrow the sessions will start from 2 p.m. itself. Okay, we'll have three sessions and followed by a test for half an hour and followed by the a valedictory session. So the tomorrow's sessions will start from 2 p.m. Yeah, we are again having one more renowned person, cybersecurity expert tomorrow from one company. So along with him, one more part. Tomorrow we will have two guests, two resource persons who will be delivering three sessions. So keep your enthusiasm and attend the sessions as similar as what you have did in the last 5 days for the tomorrow also. So with this things, if any participants are having questions, I can ask your resource person or any other thing.
Sir, I remind you once again, sir, tomorrow the session will start at 2 p.m., not at the regular 6 p.m. And it is mandatory for all the participants to take the test, to get through the test, and give feedback in their concerned Atal portal, not in the link provided by us here, sir. You have to give the feedback in your Atal website. It is mandatory, sir. Sir, hope
Yeah, if
that
no
there are no
questions from the
queries from the participants.
yeah, yeah, shall we wind up the session?
Yes, sir. I think we
Yeah,
can. Are there any
thank
queries
you.
from any attendees? If not, we shall end the session.
2 p.m. to any question better 8:30, 8.
Yes, sir. Up to 8 p.m., sir. It is supposed to end by 8 p.m.
Yeah, tomorrow three sessions are there. You will be having the sessions starting from 2 p.m. to evening night 8 p.m. Yeah, so I would like to thank today's resource person, Kashi Viswanadh. So he is also the proud alumni of our St. Anne's College of Engineering and Technology. So now he is doing his career in he is having his career in Dubai. So he worked in multiple companies so far. So Kashi, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and giving me your presentation in the Atal FDP sessions. So I thank all the participants who have participated enthusiastically for today's session, and I expect the same enthusiasm for one more day with the three sessions. You will have a good sessions, the resource persons who are eminent resource persons for tomorrow also. So I hope everybody will be participating with the same enthusiasm. So I remind once again, tomorrow you will be having the test. You are supposed to fill the feedback in the Atan login. At the same time, you are supposed to maintain the attendance. Yeah, tomorrow sessions are from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Three sessions will be there. So, Praveen sir, shall we close the session?